Divination comes from the same root word as divine. To come into alignment with the divine is actually the true nature of divination, if it is practiced rightly. When we go and see a tarot reader, do you feel, and this is in this present moment, do you feel that they are in alignment with the highest source when they're giving you their reading? How many of you feel, though, when you've had a reading from people, they've played God? What they've said is absolute truth. When someone is a divinator, they can have a tendency to play God. You see that connection? The other thing that we need to bear in mind with regards to divination is, if I'm not aligning with the divine, what am I aligning with? When I throw some cards for myself, who am I throwing the question open to? So we need to understand that purity is incredibly important when it comes to divination and not playing God. When it comes to how can we work appropriately with it, we prepare the space. We prepare ourselves, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. But what happens when we're an emotional wreck and we're wanting to find an answer to something? Well, the subconscious is a very powerful thing. If you have a fear, you pull some tarot cards, you can influence those cards. So an open mind is incredibly important, an open spirit. I've touched a little bit on the tarot. That's true for any of these tools, because every single divinatory piece of equipment is just a tool. And when the chrysalis becomes the butterfly, you need none of this, because you read soul to soul. The soul is the record keeper. There's very few people that have an understanding of reading soul to soul. So how do you align with that? Purity. Purity of being. In aligning with that divine, reaching to the highest source possible and allowing that tingling to descend, where there's like a column of light. It comes to meet you. How do you know if it's right? You don't. The best way to describe this, I think, is the still pool. If someone comes into your energetic atmosphere, you can feel whether they're stressed or not, can't you? We read these signs all the time. In the tarot, that works with the elements, earth, air, fire and water. But then all of those are contained within ether, within space. So we bring the spirit into the air, the spirit into the earth, spirit into the fire, spirit into the water. And that kind of makes the link between you and the soul. So first point, don't play God. Second point, align with the divine. Set the atmosphere. When I'm doing readings for people, I always light a candle because fire transforms. Fire burns up dross. So if there is any kind of neediness from the reading, the fire helps to transform it, to transmute it, and to lift it to spirit, to lift it to a higher dimension. So I've touched a little bit upon subconscious influences. When it comes to dowsing, your dowsing is only as good as the questions you ask. But especially with the pendulum, subconscious influences. So when you're asking and you know what your yes, no and don't know directions are, when you're asking it, you must occupy your mind saying, I wonder what the answer will be. And try and keep as still and as clean and as clear as you possibly can. With the tarot, if you find that you're pulling cards that are just sort of negative, dark, look to yourself and say, how do I feel in myself? Am I actually feeling really angry or irritated or down? in which case I need to align with the divine, and where I can't do it, ask the divine to influence the cards, so that it's not my subconscious influencing them. The only time that that isn't the requirement is if you are trying to find out what the heck you are feeling about something, in which case you let your subconscious run free. You let your whole energetic being go into the cards to try and help you to sort something out, because sometimes by externalizing stuff, it's easier for us to understand it or to grasp it, isn't it? Third important point, motivation. Why do you want to read the cards? What is your driver? And make sure that as much as possible that motive is in alignment with the divine. That's what we're trying to align to. So when things have gone pear-shaped, we can ask it to come down and help to influence the readings. Okay, so we've got the 4 elements within the tarot. With the pendulum, we're only as good as the questions that we ask. So one of the things that I do is I ask, first of all, is it all right and appropriate for me to dowse today? If I get a yes, then I do. And then the next question I ask is, how correct is it going to be? Is my dowsing going to be 100%? No. Oh. 90? No. 80? No. 70? Yes. Okay. I know that I'm only going to have 70% of the picture. I might not think to ask a further question to something that I've asked. So I'm only going to get 70% of the picture. Okay? It's best if you do get a reading like 70% to say, okay, that's as far as I'm going to take it today, and see how it unfolds. When you've done a reading, a good thing to do is to seek confirmation. Because if something is true, it loves to be tested. If something is false, it hates it, doesn't it? Yeah? So one of the quickest ways to find out if something is true is to say, please may I have confirmation that I have aligned myself correctly. Because Spirit wants us to know. They want us to be more aware of our spiritual nature. They want us to be in connection, or it wants us to be in connection with our soul. We all have one, it's the spark of our life. And it is our divine essence, our divine connection. So it makes sense that the readings come from there. So, why do we go to gypsy fortune tellers and tarot readers and psychic fairs? We don't trust our own spirit. We don't think that we can read for ourselves. We've disempowered ourselves that much from our true wisdom. So we need to start to trust. And if we do a reading, if we actually trust that this is a loving universe, that what comes forward is actually going to be something helpful. And you don't actually need the advice of anybody else, ultimately. Just because someone says something to you doesn't mean it's true. And just because you read something into something doesn't make it true either. Try and feel within. The tarot can read the colours of our soul, if you like, can read the colours of how the elements are moving through us. And there is this strange reflective quality in the universe, isn't there? The only thing that we've got is this reality now. And what we build now, what we create now, we are co-creators of our future.